Let's begin with CNN's Sarah Seidner, former Bush counsel Jamil Jaffer, and former Obama and Biden advisor Ashley Allison. But first, let's get straight to CNN's senior legal analyst Ellie Honig. Ellie, this is a significant development, it seems. What does it mean when we say cooperation? How significant is it that this person is on the inside?
So, Abby, this is a big deal because the real lifeblood of federal prosecution is cooperators. As we used to argue to juries, the only person who can really take you inside a criminal organization is another criminal. Now, we don't know exactly whether this is a person who's pled guilty to crimes relating to Mar-a-Lago. If so, that's a big deal. We also don't know exactly how much information this cooperator has. We sometimes say there are cooperators and then there are cooperators. So it's possible this person will help prosecutors make some specific points or connect some dots. It's also possible this person has sort of the key to the whole question here and will be able to walk prosecutors through everything they need to know.
And here's another nugget that was tucked in to this story that is very interesting. It seems that according to this report, prosecutors have also subpoenaed records that pertain to Trump's dealings with the Saudi-backed Live golf tournament. What does that say to you?
Yeah, that jumped off the page to me from Maggie Haberman's reporting. I mean, the Live Golf organization has nothing to do with classified documents at Mar-a-Lago or how they were stored or how the people down at Mar-a-Lago responded to subpoenas. So that tells me that this investigation has expanded in its scope. And we know that the Live Golf organization did do business with the Trump organization, held some golf tournaments at Trump property. So it tells me that this investigation has grown.
And Jamil, what is your reaction to all of this? What does it signify to you?
Well, Abby, obviously it shows a turn in the investigation. We now know not only that there may have been classified documents there, the documents may have been moved at times, but there may have been video of this, and something may have happened with that video. Was that video tampered with? Was it modified? Was not all of it provided to the Justice Department? We know the president has gone on TV talking about his provision of those records to the FBI, but the question is, did he provide everything? And if not, what's missing from those tapes?
Yeah, I mean, I'm also curious about what did it take to obtain the cooperation of this witness, which is a big part of the picture. But stand by, everyone. Also today, a jury convicting more far-right extremists of sedition for plotting to attack the United States government on January 6th. The guilty four are all members of the Proud Boys, a militia group, and it included the leader of that group, Enrique Tarrio. The Justice Department, again, successful in proving a conspiracy to stop the peaceful transfer of presidential power. So when you take this all into consideration, this brings the number of guilty verdicts or guilty pleas of seditious conspiracy so far to 14. Now, that proves, it seems, that it was an insurrection, but that is something that many people on the right at one point tried to downplay.
Oh, it was an insurrection. So how many of the participants in that insurrection have been charged with insurrecting, with sedition, with treason? Zero.
But you know what? No one has been charged with sedition.
No one has been charged with sedition or insurrection. Most have been hit with charges like parading. Parading. Who knew that was a crime?
Do you know how many people have been charged with inciting insurrection or sedition or treason or domestic terrorism as a result of anything? Zero.
Has anybody been charged with sedition? Nobody. Has anybody been charged with treason? Nobody. So why do they keep calling it an insurrection?
How many times do words like insurrection, sedition, or treason appear in Biden's own DOJ indictments against the January 6 rioters? The answer, zero.
Insurrecting. Well, they've been charged and now convicted. You've spent so much time with some of these individuals, especially Enrique Tarrio, Sarah. Does any of this come as a surprise?
Not at all, except for Enrique Tarrio. And the only reason why I say that is because he was not there. He is the one defendant of these five who was not in D.C. He was not allowed to be in D.C. He had already gotten in trouble. A judge told him to stay out of D.C. because he had burned a Black Lives Matter flag, which he admitted, and had brought some illegal gun cartridges to D.C. And so he wasn't allowed to be there. But this is a conspiracy charge. And so this jury, and I was there for some of the jury selection, and I watched some of this trial as it was going forward. This jury is being asked to look at whether there was a plan or a plot, not whether or not it actually happened. And what they found with a mountain of evidence, it can only be described as a mountain of evidence. This went on for 18 weeks with 5 different defendants. They found that 4 of the 5 did commit seditious conspiracy. The thing I found very interesting and also somewhat surprising is that Dominic Pizzola is the one person they did not find guilty of seditious conspiracy, but we have seen numerous pictures and videos of him breaking into the Capitol with a police officer's shield. He's been convicted in other things and for other things, but not seditious conspiracy. And I think that may be because 4 of the 5 were leaders. They were in leadership in the problems, including the former president.
And when you were talking about plots, that matters. Sarah, I do want to play a little bit of your conversation with Tarrio before all of this. Listen.
I'm not going to cry about a group of people that don't give a crap about their constituents. I'm not going to sympathize with them. I was celebrating, and I'll tell you, I'll celebrate the moment that the government does fear their people.
Do you
but
wish
I think,
that you didn't do that now that you know
no,
what
I
happened?
don't. Another thing is I'll never regret something that I said.
It's so significant for the Justice Department. This is not just a moral victory. It's a really important legal one that hasn't really happened since 1995. What does it say to you that they were able to win this one?
I mean, it demonstrates that they were able to show a jury that there was an agreement, a means, and an end. An overt act was taken in furtherance of this conspiracy to engage in sedition, to obstruct the operation of Congress, and then the other charges we saw as well, the destruction of federal property, the breaking of the window, the taking down of the fence. They were able to put facts on the table that convinced the jury of their peers that, in fact, these people were involved in sedition against the United States and had agreed to do so.
Yeah, and I mean, for the political system, we just played that montage of all the denials. I mean, there is no more denying at this point, A, that it happened, and B, that it was seditious conspiracy. It was an insurrection.
Yeah, and I think for so long, you know, Donald Trump has talked about the folks who were at the Capitol in January 6th and defended them and talked about like it was a witch hunt by the DOJ. Well, to your point, it was a jury of their peers who said, we have seen the evidence and we actually know that you tried to overthrow our government. And so it is, I think, to the American people who have for so long been fed lies by a part of elected officials and the MAGA base that no, this happened, this was real, and justice must be served.
All right, stand by, everyone. We're turning now to another.